In this module, Regulatory Affairs. This module explains the regulatory framework that surrounds drug safety work. It covers the development and authorization lifecycle, the roles of the MHRA, EMA, FDA, WHO, and ICH, the dossier structure used worldwide, and the routes to a marketing authorization in the European Union and the United Kingdom. Learning outcomes. Describe the regulatory life cycle of a medicine, from non-clinical development through authorization to post-authorization maintenance and renewal. Explain what the MHRA, EMA, FDA, WHO, and ICH each do and where their responsibilities differ. Outline the structure of the common technical document and the main types of marketing authorization application. Compare the EU, centralized, decentralized, mutual recognition, and national routes with the UK routes available as at 2026. The regulatory life cycle of a medicine. Regulation covers the whole life of a product: non-clinical work, clinical trials, authorization, marketing, life cycle maintenance, and eventual withdrawal. Clinical trial authorization and marketing authorization are separate decisions, taken under separate legislation, often by different teams inside the same regulator. UK marketing authorizations sit under the Human Medicines Regulations, 2012, SI 2012-1916. UK trials sit under the 2004 regulations as amended in 2025. A UK marketing authorization is valid for 5 years. Renewal is applied for 9 months before expiry, after which validity is usually unlimited. The regulators, MHRA, EMA, FDA, and WHO. The MHRA is the UK regulator. Since 1 January 2025, it authorises medicines for the whole United Kingdom, including Northern Ireland. The EMA coordinates scientific assessment across the EU, but the European Commission grants the centralised marketing authorisation and takes the legal decision. The FDA regulates the US market and runs FAERS, the MedWatch reporting program and risk evaluation and mitigation strategies. WHO does not license medicines nationally. It runs pre-qualification, the Program for International Drug Monitoring, and the WHO-listed authority framework. ICH and the harmonization of requirements. ICH was founded in 1990 and restructured as a non-profit association under Swiss law on 23 October 2015. It brings regulators and industry together to agree technical requirements so that one development program can support applications in several regions. Guidelines fall into 4 families: quality, Q, safety, S, efficacy, E, and multidisciplinary, M. The CTD sits in the M family. Safety-relevant examples include the E2A to E2F series on adverse reaction reporting, E6R3 on good clinical practice, and E14 on QT assessment. The CTD and the ECTD. The common technical document, agreed under ICH M4, gives applications one agreed structure across the EU, UK, US, Japan, and other regions. Module 1 is regional and holds administrative and national content. Modules 2 to 5 are common to all regions. Module 2 holds the summaries, including 2.5 clinical overview and 2.7 clinical summary. Module 3 is quality, Module 4 non-clinical, Module 5 clinical. The ECTD is the electronic version, submitted as numbered sequences with lifecycle operations, so a reviewer can trace every change to every document. The marketing authorization application. A full application contains the applicant's own complete quality, non-clinical, and clinical data package for the product being licensed. Generic applications rely on bioequivalence to an authorized reference product. Hybrid applications add limited new data where bioequivalence alone is not enough. Biosimilar applications compare a biological product to an authorized reference, biological through a comparability exercise rather than a full independent program. Well-established use applications substitute published bibliographic evidence for new studies where a substance has a long and documented clinical history. The EU centralized procedure. The legal basis is Regulation EC No. 7226/2004. One application produces a single marketing authorization valid across the whole European Union. It is compulsory for biotechnology-derived products, orphan medicines, and products for AIDS, cancer, neurodegenerative disorders, and diabetes containing newer active substances. The full mandatory scope is set out in the Annex to Regulation EC No. 726/2004. Other innovative products may use the route optionally. The CHMP carries out the scientific assessment and issues an opinion. The European Commission then takes the binding legal decision. EU decentralized, mutual recognition, and national routes. A purely national authorization covers one member state only and suits products intended for a single national market. The mutual recognition procedure starts from an existing national authorization. Concerned member states have 90 days to recognize the reference member state's decision. National authorizations are then granted within 30 days of recognition, so the same agreed product information applies across the participating states. The decentralized procedure is used where no authorization yet exists. Applications go to all chosen states at once, with one acting as reference member state. UK authorization routes as at 2026. Since 1 January 2025, the MHRA authorizes medicines for the whole UK. European Commission authorizations are no longer valid in Northern Ireland. Packs placed on the UK market must carry a UK-only statement, introduced from 1 January 2025 under the Windsor Framework Arrangements. Under the national procedure, innovative medicines can be decided in 150 clock-on days if one round of questions settles everything, otherwise up to 210. Established medicines applications are decided within 210 clock-on days. Time spent by the applicant answering requests for information does not count. The SMPC and the Patient Information Leaflet. The summary of product characteristics is the legally approved description of a medicine for prescribers. It is agreed with the regulator, not written freely. Its 10 numbered sections run from the product name through clinical particulars and pharmacological properties to the date of revision of the text. Section 4.3 covers contraindications, 4.4 special warnings and precautions for use, 4.5 interactions with other medicinal products, and 4.8 undesirable effects. Section 4.8 uses fixed frequency categories. Very common at least 1 in 10, common 1 in 100 to 1 in 10, uncommon 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 100. CCDS, CCSI, and the US prescribing information. A company core data sheet is the company's own reference document covering safety, indications, dosing, and other core information for a product worldwide. The safety part of that document is the company core safety information, which defines what the company treats as expected when assessing reports. Expectedness matters because a suspected reaction not listed in the applicable reference safety document is unexpected, which drives expedited reporting obligations. In the United States, the label is the prescribing information set out under 21 CFR 201.57 in the physician labeling rule format. Variations classifying post-authorization changes. In the EU, changes to an authorization are governed by Regulation EC No. 1234/2008, amended by Commission Delegated Regulation EU 2024/1701. The amending regulation applied from 1 January 2025, and the revised variations guidelines Apply to applications submitted from 15 January 2026. Type IA variations have minimal or no impact on quality, safety, or efficacy. They follow a do and tell route, implemented before notification. Type IA variations must be notified immediately after implementation. Other type IA changes are collected into an annual update within 12 months. Urgent safety changes, USRs, and US labeling orders. Type 2 variations run on set timetables. 60 days for standard cases and 90 days where a new or changed therapeutic indication is involved. A 30-day accelerated Type 2 timetable exists for changes needing urgent assessment, which is the usual route for pressing safety updates. An urgent safety restriction is an interim change to the product information made because new information bears on the safe use of the medicine. Under Article 22 of Regulation EC No. 1234/2008, it is deemed accepted if the competent authority raises no objection within 24 hours. Worked example from Signal to SMPC Section 4.8. A safety team validates a signal of drug-induced liver injury from spontaneous cases, published literature, and a disproportionality score in Vigilance. Assessment weighs case quality, temporal relationship, de-challenge and re-challenge, confounders, and biological plausibility, then recommends a product information change. Regulatory Affairs converts that recommendation into a Type 2 safety variation, adding monitoring wording to SMPC 4.4 and a new term with frequency to 4.8. The same change flows to the patient information leaflet, to the company core safety information, and to Sections 5 and 6 of the U.S. prescribing information. Inspections and the Regulatory Affairs and PV interface. The MHRA runs a good pharmacovigilance practice inspection program covering marketing authorization holders, applicants, and, where relevant, their service providers. Inspections may be routine and risk-based, triggered by specific intelligence, conducted before authorization to test readiness, or aimed at a service provider. Findings are graded critical, major, or minor. A critical finding adversely affects patient rights, safety, or well-being, or poses a potential public health risk. Companies receive the inspection report, then respond with root cause analysis and a CAPA plan. Unresolved critical findings escalate through MHRA compliance groups. That completes this module. The key takeaways and suggested further reading are summarized on the slide. The full references for this module are listed on the slide for your further reading.